The treasures of Jewish mysticism, the jewels of the wisdom of Metatron. Today's class, we start with the question that relates to the previous class. Can you please amplify the interrelation of the concept of what is an angel? As we spoke about in last week's class, the angels are the souls of the stars and the planets. They are very strong, intelligent energies that send us radiations to our minds that influence our minds in a telepathic manner. There are two things here. What is an angel? And the other thing is, how do angels function? That an angel acts in a telepathic manner is how they function. What is an angel? It is the soul of the stars and the planets. The soul of the stars and the planets are tools that Hakadosh Baruch Hu created to fabricate matter and also to have them take care of the material world. What has happened? Well, since there has been a revolt in the spiritual world, then the souls of the stars and the planets wanted to take the power away from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Then when it's Hakadosh Baruch Hu that uses these tools, and we're talking about the angels, to send compassion to the world, yes, but when there is a revolt, then it's no longer Hakadosh Baruch Hu, but those that have taken over the power of Hakadosh Baruch Hu, that direct the stars, or to say the telepathic energies that come from the stars. Then we cannot let them influence us. We have to go directly to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. That's why all of the wisdom of Metatron, who is the chief of all the angels, is to give back the power to Metatron over the principalities of the nations that are also angels and that also inhabit the stars and the planets. And if there are mutineers, then we have to take them back to an obedient discipline to Metatron, that at the same time, Metatron is the mirror of the divine consciousness. Then since there has been a rebellion, then now we cannot let ourselves be influenced by the stars and the planets. And this you can call karma. If there wasn't a revolt, then there wouldn't be karma. So rapidly, let's review what we had talked about in our last class. We saw that Enoch was the great-great-grandson of Adam. He was before Noah and before the great flood. He dedicated himself to the spreading of the secrets of heaven. He was a prophet that taught these secrets of heaven and taught the meaning of Shabbat. He taught not to eat certain foods, that we didn't have to eat an animal that was still alive, that we should not have sexual relations during menstruation. And Hakadosh Baruch Hu loved him so much that he turned his body into energy and took him out of this world without having to go through the process of death, and made out of him Metatron, that is to say, an archangel that is above the archangels and the angels, and made him chief of all the angels. And they called him the small Yud Ke Vav Ke. That's to say, the small tetragrammaton. What this means to say is that he is the right arm of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. And the question is, can there be two gods? And the answer, of course, is no. There's only one God. So then, who is Metatron? Metatron is a mirror that reflects the divine consciousness towards the angels and towards this world. This is Metatron. That's why the ascension and the exaltation of Enoch earned him something that we all like to be. That is to say, an ascension as such that we transcend the bodily forces. So we have to know that the angels have been created, and we just said that they are intelligent energies, so that they can serve Hakadosh Baruch Hu in directing the world and to create the history of humanity. And the ruler of this history is Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The angels accompany every one of us in an invisible manner, in a silent manner, in an intimate and protective manner, in all of our everyday activities. And if this is true, we can see how catastrophic a mutiny or a rebellion would be. Because if they accompany us in an invisible manner in all of our everyday activities, then while they're under the supervision of our Creator, that is great. But if there is a rebellion, then they are surely going to take us into chaos. They would take us into divorces. They will take us into wars. They will take us into conflicts. You're seeing that all around us right now. Now, they listen to prayers that humans pray, but only know one language, which is Hebrew. And they transmit those prayers to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Now, Hakadosh Baruch Hu understands all languages. So therefore, if you direct yourself to the angels, then you have to direct yourself exclusively in Hebrew. If you direct yourself to the Creator, then you can lead your prayers in your own language. And what do the Kabbalists say? We send our prayers directly to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We can use Hebrew, the names of God, but one thing is for sure, that our hearts directly connects with Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We do not want any intermediaries, and we know why, and that's because we don't know if the angels are going to steal our prayers, and then our prayers won't reach Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, we send them directly to him. Now, if the angels negatively interfere in the destiny of humanity, it's because we haven't merited that Hakadosh Baruch Hu, that he direct our lives. That is to say, it's because of a fault in the merit of man that the angels have been permitted to create interference and have taken unto themselves the governing of the history of humanity. But this is why we have Metatron, so that we can put order in all of this. But the grace in all of this story is that he that gives strength to Metatron is the Jewish state, which is Israel. And he who gives strength to Metatron and makes Hakadosh Baruch Hu take back the helm of all the angels is the state of Israel. Then we have to learn how to comply without having to adulterate the laws of heaven. We have a great responsibility. That's why, first, we have to learn how to love Hakadosh Baruch Hu without limitations and without reservations. That is point number one, and that is why we are spreading the secrets of heaven. And we have to know how to throw ourselves into his arms, just like one throws himself off of a cliff. Then this type of love makes Hakadosh Baruch Hu regain his power. Because I read in the great, great secrets of heaven that what Hakadosh Baruch Hu wants is that we love him. He wants no other thing. And I asked myself, and why would he want us to love him? And the answer is real simple. It is written in the Torah, I will be your shadow. What this means is that he will reflect our thoughts. Then if we love him, what will the shadow do? It will love us back. Why does he want us to love him? So that he can love us. Once, I saw a romantic movie on TV. A man asked a woman, why do you love me? And the woman answered, because you love me. She was reflecting the love of her boyfriend. When the boyfriend gives lots of love, well then the girlfriend will reflect that love, and vice versa. Then the girlfriend gives a lot of love, then at the end she will conquest the boyfriend's heart. But like it's below, it's above. If we give a lot of love to our Creator will give us lots of love back, because he is our shadow. And what does it mean to give us lots of love? Well, it's equal to a husband loving his wife. What does a husband do for his wife? He protects her, he takes care of her, he feeds her, he dresses her, etc., etc. That's what she wants, right? That's what the wife wants, correct? What do we want from Hakadosh Baruch Hu? Well, that he take care of us in all of our circumstances. then he can't let angels create interference. Manner in which he won't let this happen, that he loves us. Manner in which he loves us, that we love him. Checkmate. In that moment, when we love Hakadosh Baruch Hu without reservations, he takes the reins of the stars and the planets. That is to say that all the angels and the archangels, and then he begins to ride the stars. He again takes the command. The manner in which we love Hakadosh Baruch Hu, it is to get to know him. You cannot love a being that you do not know, a consciousness that you do not know. First, we have to know him. To know him, we have to enter the secrets of heaven. Because all of the Jewish Bible is codified. All of the Sefer Yetzirah is codified. All of the writings of the Arizal are codified. All of the writings of the Zohar are codified. Decoding him, we see his tenderness, his compassion. We see his mercy. When we have seen it, we fall in love. When we fall in love, he falls in love with us. When he falls in love with us, he directs the stars and the rebellions of the angels. They disappear. And who is grateful? Metatron, who is the chief of the angels. And in this case, when God directs the stars, the primal objective of why God has created first the stars and the planets before creating man, because the stars and the planets were created on the fourth day of creation, and man was created on the sixth day of creation. That is to say that God created the tools and then created man. That tool turned against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when he created man with that power so great, the angels got scared. They said, "Be careful. If someday we revolt, man can give the strength that controls our rebellion back to God. So therefore, be careful with those stars that are independent." Now, what is it that takes us to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Well, the thing that takes us to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu without reservations is the study of the Zohar during the night. Today we have it very easy. All we have to do is turn on the YouTube, parasha by parasha, all of the Zohar that we have made. That is to say, in a passive manner, one can study all of the Zohar. The prayers with Kavanah, like the ones that we are unrolling with the names of God. The meditations with the Yehudim, which are the names of God braided. The sanctification of the sexual orgasm, which is the Kabbalistic sexuality, like we have explained it, and finding the thread of connection with our Creator. At that moment that God gave us his Torah and his secrets, the ministry of the angels was relegated to a second plane. Because before we had the Torah, the angels did what they wanted on earth. But since we have received the Torah, we have begun to use it. The angels are relegated to a second plane. But in reality, the important thing is that they again become the tools of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And here I'm going to talk about a very important concept. Just like a man pours out his seed into a woman to conceive a child, HaKadosh Baruch Hu poured out his seed in the universe. This seed he dressed in the planets and the stars. That is to say that the angels are the semen of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then all of the universe is the son of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And be careful with that son that he may not rebel against his father. What is happening here on earth? That the majority of the children are rebelling against their parents. This is a reflection of the angels rebelling against Metatron. That is why it is written that before the coming of the Mashiach, one of the symptoms of the coming of the Mashiach is that the children will rebel against their parents. That is to say, a reflection of the angels rebelling against Metatron. But since we are the masterpiece of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we are going to give back the governing back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. over his universe. What did Satan do? He gained power over the sun. He kidnapped him. He generated cocoon. And that is to say that he generated karma. And what does this karma do? It makes humanity suffer. Why does it make humanity suffer? Because while humanity suffers, they don't study the secrets of heaven. Because they have economic problems. They dedicate themselves to working. They dedicate themselves to their kids, to their family, to survival of their health, and dedicate themselves to all of the problems and anguishes of this world. But he does not dedicate himself to the secrets of heaven and does not know how to give back the power to Hakadosh Baruch Hu. That is the game that Satan plays. Satan. What is this Satan? It's a cosmic intelligence that wants to surpass the power of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. And what did he do? He kidnapped the angels. And when he kidnapped them, he infused in them the rebellion. But we, the tools of the secrets of heaven, we break the strategy of Satan and we give the power to Metatron. And Metatron has something extraordinary. That is that the grand power that mankind can have resides in a blessing that our patriarch Isaac gave to Jacob. That blessing was of such high magnitude that Jacob said, I will not utilize the blessing because the Mashiach will need it more than I will. And what did he tell Metatron? I name you the custodian of this blessing. And when the Mashiach comes, you give it to him instead of me using it. The Mashiach will utilize this blessing. And this blessing, what is it that this blessing would give the Mashiach? It gives the power to get rid of Satan's strategy of kidnapping the angels. That is the power of that blessing. That is why the Mashiach and Metatron are very good friends, and of course they will work together. A question. So why does God allow all of this game of strategy? If God wanted to, at any given moment, he could install absolute order in all of this. Why doesn't he do this? And here's the answer. The answer is that Hakadosh Baruch Hu is a consciousness that embarks everything. He is wrapped in everything. He controls everything. He lives everything. And he has control over everything. But the great problem with Hakadosh Baruch Hu is that when one has everything, with whom can he share this with? If I am a king and I have billions and billions, and I have bakers and cooks, and I have everything, and if I wanted to make a feast, then whom would I invite? If I occupy everything, I will be by myself at my own table. So therefore, I'm going to create my invitees, so that I may create my invitees that I can interact with them. I have to reduce myself, and we call this the sinsum, a contraction. What did Hakadosh Baruch Hu do to create man? Hakadosh Baruch Hu contracted himself. He contracted his power to encompass everything, and he gave man the power that he had. Why, you might ask? Because when someone has a project and he loves it a lot, he gives it the maximum that he can give it. And the maximum that one can give is to give himself. Then he gave man divine power. And then that king now has diners at his table of the same level. Now what is needed is that those diners are at the height of the power that has been given to them. We do not have a consciousness of what the divine power that God has installed in us. If we had consciousness of that, we would have lots more appreciation of who we are. We would value ourselves so much more that we would not put together so much chaos in this world. On the contrary, we would be generous, compassionate, kind. There wouldn't be any wars, any pain, any abuses, any robberies. There wouldn't be anything. Why? Because we would value ourselves. All of those people that are bumbling and clumsy to the extent that they generate conflict, to generate abuses, or to generate dominance over one another, or selfishness, or a narcissistic view of the world, it's because they don't value themselves. And they don't value themselves, it's because they do not know the divine essence that they have inside them. What we have to give to humanity is the knowing of that divine spark that lives inside of each and every one of us. That is what Hakadosh Baruch Hu did. Then, of course, he would resolve it all, but we would all disappear. Why? Because the essence that he has given us complements itself with Hakadosh Baruch Hu when we unite with Hakadosh Baruch Hu. But when we are not united with him, that essence turns into blindness and unconsciousness of how much power has been given to us by Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The power that God has given us is infinite. We have no idea. And what each human being is worth, it's inconceivable. I'm going to try in these classes over the jewels of the wisdom of Metatron. I'm going to try to make humanity see what they are worth. Because today, the grand illness that runs rapid, it's called depression. So what is depression? It's not finding the divine spark that is within a person, not feeding it, not having consciousness of it, and not valuing themselves. But that doesn't mean that it's not there. It's there all right. He or she doesn't see it, but it's there. Just like a lamp that is lit and you can see that there is a lamp. But if I put a blanket to block the lamp, then you would see less light. But if I put a second blanket, then you would see even less light. If I put a third blanket, then you would not see any more light and you would say, there is no light. What do you mean there is no light? There is light, but the three blankets don't let you see it. What are those blankets? There are many things, but we can say that there are anger, there are pride, the egoist way of receiving. But until you teach people that those things will not function for them, and that it will not function, and that it will not function, and you take away those blankets, that light from the lamp will be seen again. And then they will say, I can see the light. The light is there. We have that light, but we have so many blankets next to that light. And we think that that light is not there, but it is there. We have to remove those blankets. Another question. The good and bad angels that we create, where do they fit in this system that you have spoken about? Here's the answer. We have said before that the angels are not some beings with little wings. They are intelligent energies that can travel telepathically and that have the power to materialize thought and also have the power to create a circumstance. Those are the angels. But as for us, we were created on the sixth day. We encompass all of the previous creation. Then of the angels that were created, where are they? They are inside of us. The angel of the stars and all of the zodiacs, where is he? Inside of us. The angel of all the planets, where is he? Inside of us. The angel of everything that has been created, that does not include the stars and the planets, where is he? Inside of us. Because we are the last layer of the skin of the onion. Within us, we have divine essence and divine consciousness, which is the gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. and we wake up with the secrets of heaven, then when we dominate ourselves, the reflection is that Hakadosh Baruch Hu dominates the angels. When we pray, the reflection is that Metatron sends out radiations to dominate the angels, because we are the rope that is attached to the bell. If the rope is pulled, then the bell rings. Everything that we do here on earth will impact above. Why? Because we are the compendulum of all that exists. Then therefore the angels are not something that is external. It's external, but in our smallness, in the microcosms, we have all the angels inside of us. We have all of creation inside of us. The Satan is also inside of us. But of course, we have to defeat him. We also have the divine essence. We have Metatron inside of us. We are everything. The angels dreaded this when God created us. The angels told God, "You are creating a being that is very powerful because he has it all. And in addition, he has you." And what did Hakadosh Baruch Hu say? "Yes, that is true. That's what I've created. They are my diners. With them I will share my goodness and my treasures." Hopefully you have understood. Another question. In me, a conflict has been generated over something you said, that the angels only understand Hebrew. And if we want to connect directly with Hakadosh Baruch Hu, then why don't we speak and pray to God in Hebrew? Why don't we do it in English, in Spanish, in French, or whatever language that is not Hebrew? And here's the answer. First, it's because we want to have a secret language with Hakadosh Baruch Hu that the angels will not understand. Secondly, we want a language with Hakadosh Baruch Hu that we want the angels to understand. So therefore, when we want the angels to understand so that we may give them orders, we are going to use Hebrew. But when we don't want the angels to understand, we'll use Aramaic. Why is it that the Zohar is written in Aramaic and not Hebrew? So that the angels will not find out about those secrets. And now there is no conflict. We can give orders to the angels speaking in Hebrew, but we can give to Hakadosh Baruch Hu directly in our own language. In your case, Spanish, if you like, because the angels do not understand Spanish. You want to speak Aramaic? Well, great, because the angels don't understand Aramaic. Another thing is that the angels, they do not speak any other language other than Hebrew, and they cannot interpret your thoughts. Only Hakadosh Baruch Hu can understand the thoughts of humans. So therefore, the angels cannot take advantage of the fears that a person might have or the disabilities that one might think about. Angels can create fears. They can create a circumstance that can generate a vibration of fear. But if you say, "I'm scared," they will not understand it. But if you start to vibrate with fear, that they will understand. They can interpret your vibrations, but not your words. Today's meditation is going to be Vav Hey Vav. It's number 49 in the 72 names of God. We find it in Psalms 145, verse 3. Gadol Adonai, ulal miyod, ve'legdalato en heker. Hashem is great and very much praised, and his greatness cannot be searched. In the third word, we have a bigger Vav, and the bigger Hey, and in ve'legdalato, the Vav is much bigger. Here in this Psalms, King David has hidden this name, Vav Hey Vav. What we have in this name is gratitude. It's clear that when we have more gratitude towards God, more he fills us with blessings. And the more we complain, the more he takes away our blessings. This is how it works. So therefore, we should abolish all the complaining from our mouths. And we also have to abolish blaming God, because that does not exist. We have to fill ourselves with gratitude. This name helps us understand this concept. Let's go ahead and sit up straight with our feet parallel on the floor with the hands facing up over the knees. Let's go ahead and breathe deeply 3 times. Once again, we inhale and we exhale to relax. One more time, we inhale and we exhale. Now we visualize ourselves in a Star of David, color of gold. In front of us, there's another Star of David that is color of gold. And we're going to call out the letters that are going to present themselves in color of white. We call on the letter Vav and we illuminate it. We call on the letter Hey and we illuminate it. We call on the letter Vav and we illuminate it. Now that we have all these 3 letters lit, we unite the 3 flames into one central flame, and this light raises up and comes out of the superior peak of the Star of David that is acting as a screen. And this light is attracted by our superior top peak of the Star of David that we are in. This light comes down and it penetrates our cranium and it illuminates our brain. Then it goes down to our heart and it illuminates our heart. It goes down to the liver and it illuminates the liver. It goes back up to the heart and it illuminates the heart. From the heart it goes back to the brain and it illuminates the brain again. Comes down to the heart, goes back to the brain, and then like a piston it goes heart, brain, heart, brain, heart, brain, heart, brain, heart, brain, heart, brain, heart, brain. Then this light is expelled through the top of our head and a cloud of light is formed above us. And this cloud of light starts to break up and produces snowflakes of light that come down around us, magnetizing our aura with the consciousness of gratitude. We now put ourselves in a circle. We put the earth in the middle, and we are giants, much bigger than the earth. And we're going to project this light via our hearts, which will emit a beam of white light, which is composed of Vav Hey Vav, that will go towards the earth, and it will penetrate the heart of all human beings. That instead of complaining, there will be gratitude towards our Creator, and that He may change the direction of chaos so that it goes into harmony in all of the human beings. And we change the direction of the events to pass from chaos to harmony. This whole process impacts the hearts of all human beings. Now we see that Metatron, Sandalphon, and Mashiach come down and they are supervising this meditation, and you can speak freely with them, with Metatron, Sandalphon, and Mashiach. I leave you in conversation. We breathe 3 times deeply. And we open our eyes.